Now, in this day and age, it seems that this subtle art is lost upon the studios.
Just what you've been waiting for. Movies, TV, music, and more. Follow, subscribe, stay up to date. Episodes drop every other Monday. It's the man, watch that. It's the man, watch that. It's the man, watch that podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Matt Watch That podcast, the place for reviews, rants, and randomness. I'm your host, Matt Seroski, filmmaker, film fan. Each episode, I'm going to watch a movie or TV pilot that I probably should have seen but never got around to. It could be a recent favorite, critic's choice, or cult classic. To join in on the conversation, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've discussed, or suggestions as to what I should see next, use the hashtag MattWatchThat on social. Before we start, we're continuing our celebration of Halloween all month long on the Matt Watch That podcast. I'll be watching and reviewing horror movies, and all my playback videos and recommendations will be related to something spooky. The theme of this episode is creepy children. Yes, creepy children in horror movies often serve as unsettling symbols of innocence gone awry, twisted by a darkness that can be supernatural, spiritual, or inherited. The contrast between angelic faces and demonic actions leave viewers feeling conflicted and unsettled. So here are a couple of the best terror tykes. We'll start with Pet Sematary, Gage Creed, who tragically died, then was resurrected after his father buried him in an ancient ritual ground. Miko Hughes would have a long career, but will always be remembered for this specific role. The Omen centers around Damien Thorne, a young boy who is the Antichrist. While it's fairly obvious he's a bit off, it's still a shocking scene to see the mark of the beast on his scalp. The Exorcist features one of the most disturbing performances, with Linda Blair, who becomes possessed by a demonic entity. Even though her voice was dubbed, the performance was convincing enough for religious zealots to send her death threats for up to 6 months after the film's release. In more recent offerings, The Ring includes a disturbed child named Samara Morgan, whose tragic backstory and vengeful spirit lead to terrifying consequences for anyone who watches her videotape. Swedish film Let the Right One In, and its American remake Let Me In, follows a lonely boy who forms an unsettling relationship with a mysterious girl who appears at night and helps him confront the bullies in his life. Orphan revolves around a couple who adopt a 9-year-old girl named Esther who exhibits increasingly strange behavior. Not sure if this one should technically be on the list. And then, of course, we have this week's selection. So what are some of your favorite movies with creepy kids? Hit me up on social using the hashtag MattWatchThat. On to the main attraction. Each review will end with a ranking out of 5 stars. 1 star is skip it, 2 stars watch at your own risk, 3 stars standard fare, 4 stars worth checking out, and 5 stars must see. Now, if I give a title 5 stars, it doesn't mean I'm comparing it to Casablanca, Jaws, or Seinfeld. I rank titles based on other movies or TV series in that genre and at that time period. On this episode of the podcast, I'll be reviewing Children of the Corn from 1984. It was directed by Fritz Kirsch, who helmed teen drama Tough Tough, sports flick Winners Take All, fantasy film gore, rom-com Underneath the Boardwalk, and action comedy Into the Sun. The screenplay was written by George Goldsmith, who scribed martial arts film Force 5, action thriller Nowhere to Hide, and horror sci-fi Blue Monkey. Children of the Corn was based on the short story by King of Horror, Stephen King. It stars Peter Horton as Bert. He's an accomplished actor, director, and producer with over 100 credits, known for his versatile work in television and film. He began his career in the late 1970s, gaining early recognition for his work in one-off episodes of TV, including The White Shadow, Dallas, The Runaways, and 8 is Enough. His breakthrough came as Gary Shepard in the hit series 30-something. On the big screen, he had notable roles in The Babysitter's Club, 2 Days in the Valley, and The Last Starfighter, which he also directed. He would also go on to helm episodes of The Shield, Grey's Anatomy, Dirty Sexy Money, and New Amsterdam. Linda Hamilton plays Vicky. She made her small screen debut in short-lived soap opera Secrets of Midland Heights and episodes of Hill Street Blues, before being cast on the big screen in the iconic role of Sarah Connor in the Terminator franchise, which solidified her status as a leading actress in the action and sci-fi genres. She went back to television with Beauty and the Beast for 3 seasons, 46 episodes, where she played Katherine Chandler, earning a Primetime Emmy Award nomination. She bounces between movie and television, lending her voice to both animated series and films. She will appear in the final season of Stranger Things.
Inevitable Stranger Things reference.
Due out in 2025. Children of the Corn also features R.J. Armstrong, John Franklin, Courtney Gaines, and Julie Madalena. This is something to look out for. A copy of Night Shift, a collection of short stories by Stephen King, appears on the dashboard of Bert and Vicky's car. So let's jump into it. A young couple, Bert Stanton and Vicky Baxter, decide to take a road trip for his birthday, traveling through rural Nebraska, when they inadvertently hit a young boy with their car. They drive into a strange town called Gatlin to report the accident and discover that its only inhabitants are a group of children, led by a sinister boy named Isaac and his enforcer Malachi. They worship an entity known as He Who Walks Behind the Rose, a demonic spirit who corrupted the children into a murderous cult, bent on sacrificing every adult. Here's a quote without context: "Any religion without love and compassion is false." Children of the Corn sets the tone from the very beginning, when a young girl named Sarah draws disturbing, violent pictures whose images are acted upon by the youth, massacring adults in a fairly bloody scene. It's a chilling premise and captures the eerie isolation of rural America. Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton deliver solid performances as the couple caught in the nightmarish situation. Horton's portrayal of Bert as the skeptical yet resourceful protagonist provides a reliable anchor, while Hamilton's Vicky embodies a mixture of vulnerability and determination. But the standout performances come from John Franklin as Isaac, whose unsettling presence really adds to the film's tension, and Courtney Gaines as Malachi, whose aggressive demeanor heightens the horror. Fritz Kirsch effectively builds suspense through a slow burn approach, using desolate landscapes and atmospheric cinematography. The creepy score, which is a highlight, complements the visual elements, contributing to the overall sense of unease. However, certain sequences may feel dated, and the narrative sometimes lacks depth in exploring the backstory of the cult, but overall it's pretty satisfying. Children of the Corn remains a cult classic within the horror genre, praised for its unsettling premise and memorable performances, particularly from the child actors. Despite its flaws, it taps into primal fears and societal critiques, making it a noteworthy adaptation of Stephen King's work. Now for a little trivial trivia. This movie spawned more feature film sequels than any other Stephen King adaptations. There have been 8 total. This doesn't include the remake in 2009 and reboot in 2020. Children of the Corn was produced by Hal Roach Studios, best known for the Little Rascals shorts, and distributed by New World Pictures. It was filmed in Sioux City, Whitting, and Hornick, all in Iowa. The cinematography was captured by Joao Fernandez, whose filmography includes a lot of Chuck Norris, Missing in Action, Braddock Missing in Action 3, Invasion USA, Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection, Sidekicks, and Top Dog. This isn't his first foray into horror. He was cinematographer on Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, which was one of the better sequels, and, spoiler alert, not the final chapter for Jason. It was edited by Harry Karamidas, who worked on time-traveling trilogy Back to the Future, fantasy rom-com Chances Are, family flicks Man of the House and First Kid, and crime drama Hoodlum. The score was composed by Jonathan Elias, who wrote the music for comedy horror Vamp, mystery thriller Far From Home, and horror sequel Leprechaun 2. The runtime is 1 hour 32 minutes. It grossed $14.6 million at the box office. On the Ski Index, I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. If you've seen Children of the Corn and have opinions on the movie, let me know what you think using the hashtag MattWatchThat. Moving right along, each episode, I'm gonna post clips that I think people should watch. It could be movie trailers, music videos, interviews, or something completely random. Search for my YouTube page and there'll be a playlist called Matt Watch That Playback. An effective teaser trailer for a movie captures the audience's attention and sparks curiosity without revealing too much of the plot. It usually starts off with a striking visual to hook the viewers, making them temporarily look up from their phone. It uses music cues and visual intrigue to establish the tone of the movie, telling the audience if it's a comedy, drama, or sci-fi epic. Then, it briefly showcases the main characters, hinting at potential conflicts before a couple of quick cuts of key sequences, leading to an impactful ending. Now, in this day and age, it seems that this subtle art is lost upon the studios. So instead, we get trailers where we feel like we've seen the entire plot. And sometimes that's a good thing, but most of the time, it's not. Pixar used to approach teaser trailers very uniquely. They would do an original scene with a character or two, not a scene lift from the movie. So it gave you insight into the characters and tone of the film without showing you a single frame from the actual film. The most memorable was The Incredibles, where Mr. Incredible tries to put on his utility belt and it just doesn't fit. As someone who's worked with marketing and promotions, nothing is more exciting than seeing an effective teaser that brings the audience on a journey in a span of 30 to 60 seconds and leaves them wanting more. So I've selected a couple of teaser trailers from iconic horror movies that show how effective they can be. We've got Alien, The Thing, Scream, and Jaws. The funniest part of the Jaws teaser trailer is that after all of these suspenseful images, it ends with the voiceover saying, "Rated PG." These clips are all available in the Matt Watch That Playback playlist on YouTube. Check it out. Now it's time for the recommendation. Yes, that's the word recommendation with Matt in the middle. I'm going to end each podcast with my own recommendation of a movie or TV series. Today I'm talking about Coraline. It tells a story of 11-year-old Coraline, who discovers a hidden door in the new family home that leads to an unsettling alternate universe. It stars the voice talents of child actor Dakota Fanning, Desperate Housewives alum Terry Hatcher, and the ab-fab duo of Jennifer Saunders and Dawn French. It also features They Live star Keith David, comedian John Hodgman, For All Mankind actor Robert Bailey Jr., and Deadwood's favorite bar owner Ian McShane. It was directed by Henry Selick, who would helm other stop-motion animated pictures, holiday classic The Nightmare Before Christmas, musical fantasy James and the Giant Peach, and comedy Wendell and Wild. His live-action debut was Monkey Bone, which also includes portion of stop-motion. Coraline was based on the dark fantasy novel by Neil Gaiman. It was the first feature-length film of production company Laika, formerly known as Will Vinton Studios. They specialize in stop-motion animation and would go on to create Paranorman, The Box Trolls, Kubo and the Two Strings, and Missing Link. Its chairman is Phil Knight, owner of Nike. The company is named after Laika, the Soviet dog which was the first animal to orbit the Earth in 1957. This movie is beautifully crafted, visually stunning. Anyone who grew up with the Rankin Bass Christmas specials might dismiss stop-motion animation as herky-jerky, but Laika pushes the envelope, and continue to raise the bar in this field. While watching this film, every so often you have to stop and think to yourself, this is not hand-drawn. This isn't CGI. These are physically crafted sets, costumes, figures, that are filmed one frame at a time. And to produce these types of results is astounding. Even though this is a PG-rated film, don't come in with the expectation that you're watching Disney or Pixar. This is more like 1984 PG, Gremlins, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This can be a dark and even scary film for children under 10, so send the ankle biters off to the babysitters so you can enjoy this movie in peace. That's all for this edition of Matt Watch That. Thanks for listening to me babble. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've discussed or suggestions as to what movie or TV pilot I should see, use the hashtag MattWatchThat on social. Head over to mattseroski.com for all the latest news and updates, and come back next time for the reviews, rants, and randomness. The theme of this episode is creepy children. Creepy? The punniest part... This isn't his first foray into Hollywood. Nope, horror. Holiday classic, The Nightmare Before Elm Street. That's not right. Before being cast on the big screen in the iconic role of Sarah Connor in the Terminator franchise, which solidified her status as a leading lady.